welcome to Pilates Fundamentals. So we might have missed it out last Tuesday night when we went through, I guess, basics of Pilates, the philosophies, the methodologies, and why it's useful in training outside as well. So basically, obviously Pilates came from a background of a bit of dance and stuff as well, where they're working on alignment of body and breath and posture. So definitely like stacking and focusing and centering of everything. Basically the core is the center hub, and then working on like strength through here, building up a solid trunk, and then trying to work on like small little muscle groups. So when we're going out there, we can work out what's actually happening first and then create different stimulus as well. When it comes to Pilates, there, obviously out there, we can change the weights and the reps that we do. In Pilates, because we're using our body weight, especially with Mat Pilates, we do a lot more muscular endurance, where a lot of each exercise is going to between 60 to 90 seconds. And then have a short little rest. And then what they do is they kind of stack things together. So it'll be like a sequence of like some ab stuff. So it means like you feel like your abs are going forever, but you really are. So because you're not putting on that external load, like own force, like we are out in the gym with all the extra weights and stuff, we can do more repetitions of it. So we stack it together. So there'll be groups of maybe 4 to like 6 things stuck together. So there'll be like progressions of like some ab series, and we have a little break, and then we'll go on to like some glutes maybe, and then going into some upper back or body arms sequence. So that's kind of how it kind of flows in Pilates. So they'll be chunked together with a little break. How I'm going to program and do it a little bit differently. We'll do that. Then obviously a big thing about what we want to find is space in capsule, which doesn't really happen in the Pilates setting. So we're adding a little bit of our FRC, functional range conditioning, where we're trying to get capsules to joints to move in particular ways. So definitely with hips, a lot of us have got really, really sticky hips. So we'll work on rotation in that hip joint, and same in the shoulders, and getting like spine to do, working on flexion and extension with our breath as well. So it will complement things as well. So during those transition times is where we'll add in those layers of mobility and joint stuff as well. So that's how it's going to differ to, I guess, your workout Pilates and elsewhere. This is going to be definitely slowing things down and working on how your body is activating as well. So basically, I'll go through a little bit of how it all kind of works. Obviously, a big thing is pelvic floor and triceps abdominis. Like we talked about, is that core and the bracing. That's to help with pelvis stability. So with our pelvis, we want it to move, especially we talk about keeping things still and working on the femur in control of the hip socket, but we also want a pelvis that can find neutral position, but then also find anterior and posterior pelvic tilt as well, because they are useful. And if there's limitations in that, then we're probably trying to get more movement up into the lower back, or maybe your knees start to play up as well. So we want to have hips that, yes, they can be stable, but they can also be mobile as well. So we'll go through, I guess, some of those things. So first thing is finding our spinal position. So we have neutral spine and impinged spine in Pilates. So they're two different things. The first one is neutral spine. So that's probably when we set up here. Maybe you can see I have like a little slight curve. We always have like a slight little S shape here. But if I think pubic bone, SFG, so from here, that's probably pretty neutral here in that positioning. If I tilt it, I've got an anterior pelvic tilt. And then if I tilt it the other way and really lock on, that's the posterior. So from here, if I anterior tilt like this, which a lot of us are in, and then I try and squeeze my glutes, it can't switch on. So if we're walking around in this position, maybe our quads are really, really tight and locked on, and I really can't get that position to come here. It's really hard to get glute activation. The other thing is, it's maybe your lower abdominal muscles, so definitely your transverse abdominis is probably a little bit weaker. So from here, if I just strengthen up through there, that also might lift it up here. The other thing that's probably happening is got probably weak glutes and weak hammies. So again, if we think about if this is all tight, this is pretty weak. So then if I strengthen up through this, then that can come up here. And on the other way, sometimes we come around with a flat back as well. again, still weak words, I really can't get active. So after, we can also find our neutral spine on the ground. So from here, got a little gap here. If I place my fingertips like this together, palms on the hip bones, fingertips are here, pelvis, and from here, that's probably my neutral position. I can play around with the pelvis, moving up and down. If I just find that neutral one, my hands are parallel to the ground. Again, that was our neutral spine. Now we find out imprinted. All we do is try and push your lower back into the ground. They're keeping that tailbone on the ground. And now I've put a slight elevation of my fingertips toward my palms. So here, if I go too far, I'm trying to really drive it down, my tailbone starts to come off. And now I'm just crunching up. So from here, it's just a slight little pressure down there. That's our two spinal positions. We'll go through that. So generally speaking, if you're on the ground, you're doing neutral whenever your legs are up in our tabletop. That's when we start to put in our imprinted spine. Cool, so that's that. Pelvic floor. So again, pelvic floor, again, this is like a little sling underneath your body cavity, so making sure that everything kind of contains, right? There's a lot of different pelvic floor muscles here. But from here to activate, there's a couple of ones you can do. Try and pull in a little tissue, just softly, and then try and pull it in and then relax it. And try not to move your pelvis or change your pelvic position at all. It's not like a crazy grip, it's just a really light pressure and then pushing it off. Pull it in and then back down. And then another one you can do is like try and stop yourself from going to the toilet and relax. Males, try and pull your testicles into your body and then relax a little bit. The other one is, so we talked about the transverse abdominis, so that's the one that goes from hip bone to hip bone basically. So it comes around the pelvis, so we're just going to imagine two hip bones coming together into the navel and then we're going to pull it down. So from here we're going to do pelvic floor lift up and then your transverse abdominis comes across and then pushes down. So one side, pull it in. So here we'll go pelvic floor lift and then pull your transverse abdominis in and then down. If you put your fingertips just on the inside of your hip bones, you should feel like a slight little pressure underneath your pelvis. So just turning on and then relaxing. So it's like you're zipping your pants up, pulling the band in and then pushing the pin in of the clip. So here, try not to move and sandwich your back into it. So it's just a tiny little pressure here. And that will refer to either your T-zone or I'll say pelvic floor or transverse abdominis. Yeah, so TA. The other big thing in Pilates is obviously your breathing. So as we exhale, we want to think about expanding out through your rib cage. And as you exhale, we're pulling, breathing out through the mouth, exhaling, pulling the rib cage down towards your hips. So let's breathe in, and as you exhale, pull it all down. Breathe in, and breathe out. So we definitely need to keep breath when we do Pilates. I don't need to hold your breath. It'll get to a point where you have no idea if you're breathing in or out, but just keep breathing and we'll figure it out. So generally the heart of the exercise or any time we're working on flexion, it's a breath out, breath in as you're finding some extension. So that's a little tip. Otherwise from here, if we're doing here, this might be, we're just doing a lift up and back down. That's the hardest point is a lift. If we're doing a lift and extend, then the extend is the harder bit. So then we go breathe in, up, and breathe out, extend. And we'll play around with this and I'll always keep control of that, like I'll help you out with that. The big thing is that when you're breathing, that we're keeping that ribs down and we try not to like change anything else as well. Also, posture is obviously very big in Pilates, so neck nice and long, finding space between knees and shoulders and chin slightly tucked in. So this is that position as well. When we're doing this, I don't want you to have any pain in your necks or in any joint, in necks, plural, neck one, singular, or joints as well. So if you do get that, please stop, let us know as well, and we can come around and adjust things. Try to use, I guess the whole idea here is even, don't compare yourself to anyone else. When we're doing that, it's just you with you and reconnecting you. So I do sometimes suggest closing your eyes and focusing on what you're actually feeling is a good thing as well. So utilize that. And that is our Pilates basics. Now we're not going to get really, really strong doing our Pilates, but it's a really good framework so that we can dial in on the intensity out there. So it's nice to kind of slow it down sometimes, so then it complements both trainings. Will I pull up sore from this? Maybe. Now, things can always be really easy or or it can be really hard. It depends on how much energy and focus you put in there. Same as when we do our shoulder circles, our shoulder class. Here, really easy, but then if I say create as much tension as possible as you're doing this and go through dense range, or the biggest range you can, and all of a sudden that becomes really hard. Same as Pilates here. We can make things pretty easy or you can make things hard, and I would challenge you, because we don't have the utilization of force and load, I want you to make it as hard as you deem possible today, or every time you practice. The more you do it, the easier things are going to get, and remember there's regressions and progressions through it. Because we're doing more time, so that's 60 to 90 seconds per activity, maybe throughout it you might want to have a little rest and go to a slower, slightly regression of that particular exercise, or you maybe want to challenge yourself knowing there's only a few more reps left in there. So utilize that, and remember the more that we get used, the more that you do it, the more your body will get used to it as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. We've got Tuesday nights at 6:40 and Friday morning at 6:40 as well, AM. So PM on Tuesday, AM on Friday. Any questions, just let me know.